Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Triple Option Talk. Happy week one of college football. Week
Is
zero
it?
did not go so well with some people, and three of those people may be in this call right now. So we'll get into that. We're going to get it all with week one, what all that has to offer, what college game day is going to look like. It's the time, it's the season, and we're ready to get underway. Boys, we ready for week one? Or are we still dreading week zero? Still hurting from week zero?
Uh, I don't. It might take me a couple. You know what? If the only thing that would help me is if we go out Monday night and just blow Boston College out of the water. That would gain my confidence back. But until that happens, it hurts. It hurts. Just until that happens, it's still gonna hurt.
And yeah, Chase, you're absolutely right. And I just want to say, this man that's sitting behind me, please come back. please come back. And I'm not gonna. We're about to get into it right now. But yeah, Chase is right. I think until I see the result of that Boston College game on Monday, then I'll start to relieve my anxiety a little bit. But right now, I'm feeling a little bit anxious because I did not like what I saw in Ireland. And Jake, if you want to actually start us off and talk about what exactly went down in the Irish country.
So week one or week zero, Dublin, Ireland. Sheamus, WWE wrestler, on the panel as the guest picker. It seemed like he had pretty much a layup, but he went against the grain against everybody else and picked Georgia Tech in that matchup. And he was the only one correct. I don't think anybody sitting on that panel, or probably the majority of the people that turned on their TV to watch that game, thought that Georgia Tech was going to walk out and beat a number 10 Florida State. Now I'm going to give a big round of applause to Georgia Tech. They did not look like the Georgia Tech that we saw last season.
Nope.
I think y'all did a fantastic job of getting the people in the right place. Y'all's running back is disgusting. That tackle y'all have and look like this the whole time.
The 44 linebacker.
Dude, that dude's a monster. And on top of that, y'all's defensive coordinator, man, outdid himself. So, kudos to you guys. I think that y'all guys did a great, phenomenal job out there, and you came in and you did what you needed to do. Now, FSU, hear me for a moment. Hear me for a second. All Florida State fans, players, coaches, whatever you need to hear. I'm gonna play kind of devil's advocate on this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go, good job, guys. You did your best. You worked hard. You're not gonna get that from me. Here's the fact.
Fair.
Here's the facts. I'm gonna start with DJU.
Please,
Okay.
God.
Start with DJ. Listen, my
DJ.
boy, if you're listening, dog, you gotta step up. I was expecting DJU to come out and play a little bit better football. A lot of missed passes, a lot of dumb things. He threw two balls to two receivers. They were 5-10 yards out of bounds.
Yep.
And just didn't really seem like he had a lot of flow and had a lot of control of the game. He was just kind of taking everything as it came to him. But he's got to understand, he's got to take that game and let it be his own. He's got to have the thing under control, and he just didn't. So within that, I thought that we as a team, coaching-wise, played a little too safe.
Yep.
Seemed like we played a little too reserved.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, look, Florida State run defense might need a little sharpening up before we run into Boston College. Yes, we're home. We're back in the States. We're in Tallahassee this week, bringing in Boston College. But y'all, run defense, got to get that stuff going. DJU, time to step up, time to be a leader. Coaching, I don't know why we're playing scared. I thought the opening drive was fantastic. Touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
2-point conversion. I was like,
8-0.
we're here, baby. This is it. And then the rest of the game we played scared. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that the season is a bust. We've already talked about that there's going to be 2 lost teams going to the playoffs. We're going to have to win out. Florida State has been known to come back and has been the team that never kind of quits fighting, whether you're a Florida State fan or you're a viewer. If you're tied with Florida State going into the half, you are not comfortable. You are not sitting easy. So, boys, we love you. I'm going to be a diehard Florida State guy if we lose every game or win every one. But,
Always.
our team did not look like our team. that passion, fire, desire. I don't know what happened, but it just wasn't it.
Well, like you mentioned before, Jake, we have seen Florida State transform a season before. And actually, recently with Mike Norvell, if you want to look back to the 2022 season, when the Florida State Seminoles started 4-0 and then lost 3 straight. So all of a sudden, we were 4-3. And what looked like it was going to be a mediocre season, what did Mike Norvell do? Well, he transformed the run game. He got it more involved, which allowed Trey Benson to mix better with the offensive game. He transformed the D-line to put more pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, and he improved the linebackers' offensive tackling, open field tackling. And all that together helped the Seminoles win the last 6 games of the season, including a Cheez-It Bowl win against the Oklahoma Sooners. So what looked like a mediocre season turned into a 10-3 season, and that helped support us in the next year where we went undefeated. So Mike Norvell, this is not unfamiliar territory with him, but this time he doesn't have 4 games to look at or 3 games to look at his team and see what's going on. He only has 1, and he has to fix it now.
And, Jake, you touch on all the good points, Jake. I mean, we saw, yes, to an extent, DJ has to be more productive, especially in the deep ball. Ja'Kai Douglas had 2 really good deep routes where he beat out all the safeties, but DJ overthrew him by 5-6 yards. And then we saw DJ roll out of the pocket, try to hit Ja'Kai Douglas or Morlock on a little out route, and threw it 3 or 4 yards out of bounds, which is far out of reach. And here's the issue that I have with that. DJU. He's an experienced guy. We're talking about a 5th-year senior here. He has experience in the ACC with Clemson. He went over to play Pac-12 defenses over at Oregon State, where he had some success. And now he's here for a 3rd team. And I personally feel like Mike Norvell and the coordinators did not trust him enough. Because, look, first half was such a very weird and conservative half. Because aside from that first drive where Tulafili broke free for a 35-yard touchdown run, we only saw counter runs from Florida State's 3-headed monster like Williams, Tulafili, Lucas. They were all used in like the counter run type scheme. And then the only time we allowed DJ to throw the ball in the first half, all we saw were like these minor screen passes and check down throws. Like that's just not going to get the job done. And what we realized when the game was too late on that final drive before Georgia Tech's walk-off field goal, when Florida State did score a touchdown, DJU converted on 2 4th-and-long plays, and he found inside cross routes that were wide open in the middle of the field. What did that show? Exactly what we were talking about in the previous episode. Georgia Tech's secondary is incredibly vulnerable, and DJU was not able to cater towards that because our play calling didn't allow him to. But once we realized, wait a minute, this guy can't throw the ball, it was too late. And what did Georgia Tech do? The very next drive, the same thing they did the entire game. Haynes King would either do the read option where he'd take it himself or get it off to number 11, who terrorized our linebackers the entire game. Patrick Payton, Marvin Jones Jr., they weren't able to be productive because by the time our defensive linemen allowed the running back to break through the seam, he was too far gone. Our linebackers were helpless. And I'm not saying Georgia Tech doesn't deserve credit because they absolutely do. Georgia Tech showcased why bringing back those returning players was going to help the line tremendously. But they just flat out beat us in the trenches. Their offensive line overpowered our defensive line. Their defensive line overpowered our offensive line. They had nonstop pressure on DJU. We couldn't get a lick of pressure on Haynes King. So unless Mike Norvell, which he did make comments during the post-game wrap-up, which I believe Chase is about to touch on here in a minute, he did hint towards that he recognizes the little tweaks that is going to be needed to make if FSU wants to improve the season. But like we mentioned before, thank you, Jesus, it is a 12-team playoff format. Because had it still be a 4-team playoff this year, our chances would have gone to like 2% maybe from where it was originally. But because it's a 12-team format, we're not far out of it by any means. We just have to turn the tables. And I still have trust in Mike Norvell that he's going to get that done.
Yeah, no, he's a winner. He's that's who our coach is. He's a winner. He can he can drive our boys in the right direction. I'm not sure what was said in the halftime speech, but I mean, homie couldn't sell a car to these guys, more or less a spirit to win the game.
That's crazy.
So
yeah, I mean,
again, coach, I love you, man. Like, I know you're the coach. I know you're the guy. We signed you for a long time, so you're going to be here for a minute. And we know you can win, just like we were talking about. We were 4-0, lost 3, and then we went on a tear and then won a Cheez-It Bowl. And truthfully, like, that year seemed more successful in my eyes than the undefeated season that we had, because we got to see a character turn in all of our guys to play with, like, this fire, this chip on their shoulder that, pushed them in. But, I'm not doubting our guys, not doubting our boys, never will. There's definitely changes that need to be made. But first off, man, can we get a round of applause for our field goal kicker?
Ryan Fitzgerald, baby.
Ryan Fitzy, my guy, dude.
His field goal, his second field goal would have been good from 60 easily.
I'm saying, Fitzy, if you ever find this footage, man, if you ever listen to this podcast, dude, if we ever meet, I'm buying you a drink. I'm buying you dinner. Whatever you want, dog, you got it, man.
Do you remember, like, 4 years ago when Fitzgerald was a freshman and he couldn't kick it straight from 20 yards? And now this dude's out here nailing 58-yarders. Like, that man is eating his beaties. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to remember, the grass was wet, too. It was raining that game, so the conditions weren't in his favor either, and he still nailed it, got everything on it. Yep. But,
man, congratulations. I was mad when they were like, oh, we're kicking it. I was like,
me too.
Why?
I was like, God, like, at least give us a chance. That's what I was thinking, but here he goes.
I was thinking Auburn football, he was going to catch it in the end zone and run it back, and I'm like,
because that would have been our luck.
Hey, well, like we said in episode 1, we are Florida State fans. This isn't a Florida State podcast, so unfortunately, we had to give Georgia Tech their praise. And honestly, if we're being honest, they deserve a lot of respect, because as soon as DJ snapped the ball and we tried to use a run, I mean, the Tech linebackers were in the backfield in 2 seconds. We had nothing to do. And credit needs to be given to players like Kyle Efford, which is number 44, the guy with the massive shoulder pads.
You're nasty, dog. You're nasty.
Trinelius Tatum, too, LaMiles Brooks. They made the Seminoles realize that they can't just run the ball anytime they want to. And I also want to shout out, Andrew, you mentioned this, touch on a little bit, Georgia Tech's entire O-line that allowed Haynes Kings and Jamal Haynes to dominate the field anytime they want to. And I mentioned last week, but Buster Faulkner, the Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator, has got this offense running like a well-oiled machine. I mean, it's a more traditional style of offense, obviously, but the Seminoles had no answer to it. Yeah, I mean, but the Seminoles had no answer to it. So what the Yellow Jackets were presenting, the Seminoles had no answer to what the Yellow Jackets were presenting. So I'm very intrigued to see how Georgia Tech looks the rest of the season, because they've got the 4th hardest schedule in college football. I mean, they have Georgia State coming up Saturday, which, by the way, is the first time it's the first time they're playing, and they're less than 2 miles apart. And this is the first time they're meeting each other. That's weird, number one.
Georgia State could literally walk to the stadium if they wanted to. Like, so serious.
Yeah.
If I was Georgia State, I would high knee all the way into the stadium. I mean, it's walking distance.
Do you know how tough that would be if they all locked arms and just walked from their gates all the way to Georgia Tech Stadium?
Oh, dude, that would be hard.
Do you know how insane that would be?
That would be hard.
I do it. I mean, shoot, why not? What's stopping you? you?
Yeah.
But
man, I mean, that was week 1, or that was week 0. We got through it. Florida State were 0-1. Georgia Tech, you're 1-0. You're on top of the ACC. We're at the very bottom.
Congratulations.
A lot of things are going to happen in the meantime, but we got to look ahead. We got to look forward. We got to look into week number 1 of college football.
Yeah, baby.
A lot of big games, whether they're happening on Saturday, Monday. We got some good ones. As we're recording this right now, we got a couple of big games that are playing as we're speaking in this moment. Yep, Coach Dion, see what he in Colorado has to offer. If they're going to be a contender, if they're going to be a front runner for that conference, I don't know. But, I'm sure we'll all tune into that game once this is all said and done. But moving on, now we're in week 1. We got a couple of games that we're going to talk about individually, and I'm thinking right at the end, we just kind of look over an overview. I'll give us some games, and then we just take our picks, and we'll see where we match up. I'm thinking we keep a record. Like, I should get like a whiteboard right here and keep a record of who we get right.
Hey, I like that. Here, I'll write down our picks as we go through them, and then if you can get a whiteboard and write down a record, that'd be tough.
Okay, yeah, I'll get
How do
one.
you do that?
I'll get one. We'll put it
Yeah,
right
that'd
here.
be tough.
Well, I got
Let's
locked
do it.
in now. Y'all putting some
I know.
pressure on me.
I know.
I know it's gonna be all this.
Should there be
All right.
like a reward prize to the winner if whoever has the best record towards the end of the year?
Yeah, we can do something like that. We can do
We
something.
can conjugate. We can
yeah.
conjugate on that.
Prize to the winner and a punishment to the loser.
Ooh, okay. All right, boys.
Let's do it. There's stakes on this now. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, who
All
wants to go first in terms of highlighting? Because we each chose one key game that we're each going to highlight. So who wants to go first on that?
Andrew, you're hitting on College game day. You're the actual game day pick. So
That's true.
Okay.
We'll save you for last. We'll start with Chase.
Okay, I thought you were let me go
You're
first.
last, bud.
Do you want to go first? Do you want to go?
No, I'll let Chase go first. I don't mind.
Okay.
Well, so the game I'm looking towards is actually not even on Saturday. It's the day after, Sunday night, when the number 23 USC Trojans face the number 13 LSU Tigers, a top 25 matchup at Allegiant Stadium. Las Vegas Kickoff Classic is what they call it.
Yep.
And as I was kind of researching, preview the game, I know there's something very interesting about this matchup. So we'll start on the LSU side. So the big question for the Tigers is how are they going to look with that Heisman and winning quarterback, Jane Daniels? I mean, that's the biggest question. It's a new quarterback coming in. But LSU is no stranger to the starting quarterback that's starting under center for the Tigers, which is junior Garrett Nussmeier. Is that? I hope I'm not butchering his name.
Is this the guy that started the year right after Joe Burrow?
Yep. Oh no,
Okay.
no. Well, kind of, but so
Yes
he,
and no.
yes and no. And I'll explain. So he's leading the Tigers in this upcoming season. I'm just gonna call him Garrett because I'm scared I'm butchering his last name. So Garrett does have experience for the Tigers. So in last season's RealQuest Bowl against the Wisconsin Badgers, he went 31 for 45 with 395 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. So really good outing. And Andrew, me and you also, I don't know if you remember this, we also got the pleasure of watching him play against Georgia in the SEC Championship. Remember when Georgia was killing LSU and they pulled Jay Daniels, and this was the guy that came in. The guy
He looked a lot better. He looked a lot better in that game.
The thing about him is that what you'll notice is that they love to watch him throw the ball, and rightly so, because he has an incredible arm, he has pinpoint accuracy, and he is a mastermind of reading the field. So while LSU does have the new offensive coordinator in Joe Salone this season, don't expect anything to change about Jane Daniels. So this is going to sound familiar. Look at the USC Trojans. What's their biggest question? Oh, they're without their Heisman winner, Caleb Williams, just like LSU. But it's also a similar situation because their starting quarterback, Miller Moss, also started in last year's bowl game, the Holiday Bowl against Louisville, while he went 23 for 33, 372 yards, 6 touchdown passes.
This is that guy. I forgot about his
interception.
performance.
Yeah. So
he screwed up my Capital One Bowl mania, by the way. So thanks
he
a
did
lot.
too. I had Louisville too.
We all got screwed on that. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
We all have Louisville.
Isn't that hilarious? Like, we do that every year, and it always rides on one dude making one mistake, and it's like, this kid's going to get, like, death threats on his door. It's crazy.
It's like,
Who
come
would
on
have
now.
known that Miller Moss is going to go out there with those 6 touchdowns? I mean, no one's even heard of the dude. Like, who's going to know that?
He sat behind Caleb Williams. Nobody knew who he was.
Exactly.
We know about him now.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean,
And
good
we're
Lord.
probably gonna know more because if anyone's watched Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma and USC, we all know that he is an offensive genius and he loves to use the quarterbacks to develop a high-powered offense.
Yep.
So this is what scares me about the Trojans, though, and it's the defensive side of the ball. So not only do they have a new defense coordinator in D.A.N. Lynn, who came over from UCLA, but they have 9 defensive transfers that's coming in this season, which means it's ultimately a new look on that side of the ball. So, but guess who's
all about that?
Hey, and isn't this similar? Guess who also has a new defensive coordinator?
LSU.
LSU. They're going through the same battles, but this time it's Blake Baker who came from Missouri, and we all remember how dominant Missouri's defense was last year. So there's more familiarity with LSU's defense, as we'll still see stars like Harold Perkins and Sage Ryan in the safety spot on the field, but the depth of the defensive line might cause later issues for LSU, but that's besides the point. So what separates the two defenses for me is familiarity, and each coach knows what they're getting. And what I mean is Lane, who is coming from UCLA, is having to face 9 transfers and a whole different defensive system that he's unfamiliar to. In fact, he's so unfamiliar with it that during this offseason, they weren't able to watch USC defensive film from last year, but instead they watched UCLA defensive film because that's his system, and he can't watch last year's film because they don't have any players coming back, so it's really irrelevant.
Yeah.
But however,
It's insane.
Blake Baker, LSU's defense coordinator, he's able to watch film because these are the same players. So just for that reason, because there's so much unfamiliarity on USC's defense, I still think it's going to be a high offensive game, but I give LSU's defense the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. I think LSU wins 38-30, and it's going to come down to a late LSU turnover that wins in the game. And Garrett's going to throw, I'm thinking 400 passing yards from Garrett because I know how much Brian Kelly loves to throw the ball, and we all know how broken this USC defense, which is the main concern for the Trojans heading to the season. And I think it's going to clearly show as their weak point. So give me LSU.
Okay.
Experts got that game going at right now. LSU 30, USC 27.
Oh, so that's not
a lot of
defense.
prediction. Not a lot of defense from the experts either.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there is going to be a lot of defense. All right.
All right, I'll go in and hit it. Seems like it's going to be the marquee matchup outside of what College game day is really going to be. You got Georgia.
Yeah.
You got Clemson. You got them at a neutral site in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Is it really a neutral site?
Yeah, it's kind of – I think it's hilarious when it's like, oh, we're playing a neutral site. It's like Florida versus like Wyoming, and they're like, we're going to play in Atlanta. Like,
it's not much of a
neutral site. Whatever.
Come on now.
We need to put them on like an island and just send the players and a couple of fans and just like, this is neutral.
Like, I guess it's kind of payback though. I guess it's kind of payback because remember last time they played, it was in the Carolina Panthers Stadium. So I guess it kind of evens out a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
True. So again, on paper, this game does not seem like it's going to be that close. Although Clemson has been known to surprise. They've won 2 of their last 3 games where they've been against top 10 teams.
Right.
Ranked teams. So, again, not out of the realm of possibility. Clemson's quarterback, he's a junior. We were talking about this before the show. He's a junior, but this is his second year as a starter. This is his second year starting under this offense. And, we kind of got to see a good bit of him when he played. Again, we're Florida State fans, the only thing we can go off of. But when we were in Clemson playing against him, he seemed pretty solid. He hit his passes, he hit his guys in route, and there were a couple of key moments that he didn't really live up to his expectation or live up to other people's expectation. So I think, kind of in those big moments, those key moments, I would like to see him to have a little more comfort, kind of see what's coming and hit the right plays at the right times. And I think if he does that, this game ends up being a lot closer than what it would be. Now, if you go on to the Georgia side, they got a little bad blood. Last time they were in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Alabama and the Crimson Tide came in and took that undefeated.
What a game.
Yeah, unbelievable game. But, I got to imagine there's going to be somewhat of a thought in the back of everyone's heads being like, man, last time we were here, we lost, whether that's going to put a chip on your shoulder or that's going to be a ball and chain dragging you around the whole game.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Carson Beck this is his time. I think he knows that he's the front runner for the Heisman. I don't think there's any debate in that. I know that we've even talked about him being a front runner for the Heisman, but, he's got to put that kind of in the rear view. This is his time to step up and be a leader. This is his time to step up and be a captain. He even said in an interview that, last season he was timid. He was a little afraid to speak up and say things to his teammates and his coaches and about things that's going on. But he said, but this year's completely different. I'm not afraid to speak my mind because I know I need to push my team in the right direction. So we're going to see a more confident Carson Beck. I think we're going to see somebody who's going to be a bit more of a field general out there, and he's going to see a play that, Kirby Smart might throw at him, and he's going to go, I don't know if I like that, and he's just going to, kind of take position, take being that leader role. So we could see a great Carson Beck this year. We could see a scary Carson Beck this year, or we could see Clemson to come in here and make a surprise. Now, here's the only thing. Clemson, you do not want to end up being like Oregon when they played Georgia a couple years ago.
No.
You have got to prevent that at all costs because, man, you want to talk about a season killer right there? Man, yep. I know that was Bo Nix's first year, but that was not a great season for Oregon after that. It seemed like a bit of a struggle. So, Clemson, I think you got a chance. I think there is always a chance with you guys. You're 14 against number 1. You're playing in a neutral site. Yeah. And Georgia lost. Last time they were in, there were a lot of variables. But, unfortunately, again, like Chase, I'll make my pick now. I got Georgia coming out of this with a win. I think it'll be closer than what we all think. I think it's probably going to be a 1-score, maybe a 2-score difference. So, okay. I'm not going to look over here to my board. I'm going to say Georgia's going to win like 31-20.
That's a fair score, and I like that.
I think that's all but fair. So we'll see what the experts picked.
I like what you brought in about Carson Beck because interesting enough. Because we know he's not afraid to speak his mind on Snapchat, and if you know, you know. Good Lord, but as long as he is confident on the field, I think he's been around the SEC part of the game long enough where he knows how to take control over a team like Dabo, like a guy that doesn't like to use the transfer portal. There's going to be a lot of hit or miss points on that defense that Carson Beck very well can take advantage of just as long as he has confidence. And he's got all the receiving talent in the world. Like, don't let Brock Bowers going away leave you astray because Georgia's got all the units they need to win this game. And I think as long as they pierce the defense like they should, I think Georgia does get the win there too.
Yep, experts have this game going at 29-17 Georgia.
Okay, and that sounds about right. I think Clemson will struggle to score a little bit. Yeah,
I think so. I think if Georgia finds the new weapons that they have and utilizes them correctly, again, this could be a totally different game. But that game is at noon, which off the bat, look, I'm tired of all these noon kickoff games for especially big games. They used to be at 8:00. People used to come home from work.
Like the primetime games.
Primetime games, man. I don't know.
But yeah, but look, you know what, Jake?
That's my pick.
You want a game you can come home from work and watch? Then come over to College Station and watch. Well, don't travel to College Station.
We're coming to College Station. Everybody, pack your bags. We're going.
Yeah. But look, you can sit on your nice, comfortable couch, sip you a nice little sody pop. I don't actually call it that, but Texas A&M.
This is not a beer, by the way. I was worried that people were going to see that's Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Hey, hold on. Quick conversation. Pepsi or Coke?
Get the freak out of here. Is this even a question? Coke.
No, it's Pepsi.
Thank you,
Are you serious? I thought you were on the Pepsi train because you're drinking Pepsi.
It's all I got.
Okay, whatever,
Pepsi.
loser.
Hey, not a sponsor, but don't. Thanks.
Okay, wow. All right. Pepsi, I got you. Come here.
I'm joking.
I got you. Okay.
My wife is a Pepsi person. I'm joking, obviously. Pepsi, if you want to sponsor the stream, hey, by all means, I will slap a big Pepsi poster right back here.
I would dress in all blue. I'll be like the Dr. Pepper guy on ESP on the college football commercials. But I'll be Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper commercials.
I will get a Pepsi tattoo on my. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to do that.
I was going to say, okay, I'm going to leave that at you. But listen. So last episode, I touched on a lot of Texas A&M's key factors, like Mike Elko being at the new helm at College Station. You got returning quarterback Connor Wingman. So I'm going to mainly focus on Notre Dame since I already touched on A&M a lot. So at the starting point of every season, there's always what I feel like to be like a week one discrepancy for every team's debut game. And no matter how convinced a team believes that they have they've appropriately prepared themselves, whether it's through camp, there's always some rough edges that will need to be smoothed out, like we saw with FSU.
You don't say.
I speak from experience, guys. So take all of that into consideration and then pair it with the fact that a team from Notre Dame is going to be traveling to a stadium that's going to be packed with the over 100,000 strong fans ready to cheer on Notre Dame and Texas A&M. So Notre Dame believes they have an elite defense this year, and rightfully so. However, the difference maker will fall under whether or not the Fighting Irish play like it in a game to secure a win. Why? Because nobody in the country can confidently project what the Irish's offense will look like on the other side of the ball, because just how big of a liability is the offensive line really going to be? Because listen, who's going to be under center? It's going to be Lincoln Riley, who's getting ready to take a new helm. He's going to be operating under Mike Denbrook's new offense. And what kept Riley Leonard from truly pursuing himself last season? That rough injury he suffered against guess who when Duke played in Notre Dame. Duke played Notre Dame, and he went down in that game and never came back for the rest of the year. Now he's going to be put behind an offensive line that has so many weak points. Because as big and as strong as the Irish's offensive line looked, their starters played together for a combined 6 games over the last 2 seasons. So it's like the Atlanta Falcons. That's why I like to compare the offensive line to. Every week, Notre Dame is putting a new offensive line out there, and it's just always inconsistent. And all of these key factors are a high necessity in order for Notre Dame's goals to be reached. For too many years, in big game moments, the Irish's opposition has made like the 2-3 splash plays that have completely changed the outcome of the context. Take that game against Ohio State last season, for example. So can Notre Dame flip the script and be the ones to seize the moment under the bright lights at Kyle Field? And listen, Notre Dame does recruit. They recruit very well, and they develop NFL offensive lineman talent. That's one thing I can say about Notre Dame. The issue is just experience, like I mentioned before. It's not development or coaching. Can the line hold up in game 1 against one of the best defensive lines, not just in the SEC, but in the entire country? And if Notre Dame can even make this matchup just not heavily swing towards A&M's favor, that would be considered a win. Because somewhat similar to the fundamentals of Notre Dame's offensive line, it is reasonable to assume that with the talent A&M has on the defense, that Leonard is going to be under a lot of pressure Saturday night. And Leonard has been under the fire before. Like, don't get me wrong. It won't be any different than what he saw at Duke when he had to play teams against Clemson and Louisville, who also had a good defensive line. And, of course, Irish fans are going to remember very well just how well Riley Leonard used his legs against Notre Dame, because that was a big front runner for his total scheme last season. So, ironically, the game when Leonard fell down and got hurt against Notre Dame was arguably one of his best games of the season, because even he exposed just how weak Notre Dame's offensive line can truly be when they're pinpointed against a good defensive line, which A&M has, like I said, one of the best defensive lines in the country. So basically what I'm saying is, just like Georgia Tech and Florida State, this game is going to come down what happens in the trenches. And I strongly believe that Texas A&M's defensive line significantly outweighs the Irish's offensive line. And it doesn't matter how good of a game Riley Leonard has. It doesn't matter how often he uses his legs. The Aggies' defensive line is going to put so much pressure on him that I feel like he's going to force Riley Leonard to make some critical mistakes. And for that reason and that reason alone, listen, I love you, Mike Elko. I think you're going to have tons of success in College Station, but I think you drop this first game to A&M. I think the A&M gets a huge upset win over the Irish on Saturday night.
What's the score prediction?
Score prediction, I didn't actually write this down, but given what I just said, I think the defensive line for A&M is going to be more of a factor in the second half. So I think Notre Dame will have its way in the first half, but will drop the score a little bit. Give me A&M 33-20. That's what I'm thinking.
Chase, what's your score prediction? I'm looking at the
experts pick.
Experts pick.
I like your pick. I really do want to see the Aggies get the upset. And one thing a lot of people aren't talking about is this is Riley Leonard facing Mike Elko, his old coach. That's a narrative that not a lot of people are focusing on. I don't see enough on A&M's side that gives me a lot of faith, especially on the offense. I think Riley Leonard comes in and gives Notre Dame the 31-24 win. It's going to be a close one. 31-24, the Irish win.
Well, don't forget about all the transfers that they have on that defensive line, like the big transfer from Purdue, who led the Big Ten in sacks for 2 straight seasons.
Hey, I think that's going to be a big factor. I was just making more emphasis on A&M's defensive line. But go ahead, Jake.
7:30 kickoff for that game. Experts have it Notre Dame picking up the win 24-20.
And they are ranked number 7 in the country. And don't get me wrong, Notre Dame's defense is not weak by any means. I'm not saying they're not going to struggle. I'm not saying they're going to struggle getting stops because I think they will, but I think the defense is going to be on the field way too much where they're going to get tired out towards the end of the game, and that's why I have A&M dropping 33. But it could be a lot low scoring than I think.
We know who's going to be on College Game Day. The guest speaker is Money Manziel. He's going to be back in College Station.
Is he even going to show up sober? Like, what are the odds he shows up sober? What's the betting line on that?
Did anyone see that video where he was talking about what his preparation was for each game?
Yeah, yes.
See that where he was like, I would party all day, like Tuesday, all day Thursday, all day, whatever, and then Friday I would go through walkthroughs, and he's like, and I would run every route, like I would run to the end zone every time, and then Saturday was game day, and I would just play my game. And he's like, and I did that every week. And I'm like,
he was hungover.
Do that?
He was hungover going through walkthroughs on Friday. I don't know how you do that and win the Heisman, but it didn't work in the NFL. I can tell you that.
I'd say people wonder why his NFL is such a bust, but he just didn't change.
All right. Well, we're going to transition to a new segment, first segment of the week. Don't have a name for it yet, but we're just going to make our picks. Right now, we're going to go through. I'm going to give everyone kind of the best games that I can see right now. We're all going to take our pick, and we're going to run through this. And that's how we're going to end this episode off going into week number 1 of College Game Day.
Yep.
We'll go in whatever order. We'll try and stick to the same order. I'm going to go just all top 25. There's a lot of games, but we'll just go through them quickly, all right?
And to keep them consistent, Jake, you make your first pick, Chase, and then I'll go last, just so we can keep the same order that way.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. Right. Let's get into it.
Okay, so
I'm writing down the picks now so we don't forget them too.
Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, so we got a noon kickoff Eastern time. We got 25 ranked Iowa against Illinois State. This is Illinois State at Iowa, so it's going to be in Iowa. I got Iowa. I got Iowa coming up. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown or 2.
Sure.
I think Iowa, the story last year was their offense was horrible, and it's still kind of the case this year.
It's still bad.
Their defense is going to be way too much, and I have Iowa at least by 3 scores.
And look, if you saw Iowa's spring game, you know just how bad they need a quarterback. My bad, they don't have a quarterback. But like Chase said, defense is going to win that game. I think it's going to be closer than what they like, but give me Iowa.
I like it. All right, Thursday, 7 p.m. You got Western Carolina at North Carolina State. You got NC State playing Western Carolina.
That game should be going on right now.
I don't actually know what the score is. I don't even know that's going on. So this pick is going to be completely fair. I think NC State is going to get the win this week.
I also think NC State's going to win. There's a lot to be excited about their offense, especially. I think if I'm assuming, I think it's probably showing right now. So give me NC State.
I love their passing game. I know nothing about the other team for that reason and that reason alone. Give me the Wolfpack.
Yep. All right, you got an 8 p.m. Eastern time start, I'm guessing, on the Saturday because it doesn't actually say. So you got Lindenwood at number 22, Kansas. I've never heard of Lindenwood. Sounds nice. I'm sure it's a great place to go vacation.
Sounds nice.
But I know Kansas is actually – they got some monsters on their team. They got some big guys. They got some threats. I think Kansas makes a good run. I think it's going to be too much for Lindenwood. I don't even know. Kansas up big.
Oh yeah, you got Kobe on the defense side of the ball, and you got one of the most high-powered offenses in the Big 12. In fact, they're a favorite to win the Big 12. One of the favorites. Yeah, I'm Kansas all the way. This is going to be a massive blowout.
Look, we've seen a complete.
I think that game's happening right now too.
No, I think that game is on Saturday. I think
Yep.
Jake's right.
I
But
don't know. It says
who
8
knows?
p.m., but I don't know.
Look, listen, there's been a completely flip in culture over at Kansas, and all the returning players, especially Kobe on the linebacker side of the ball. I expect a pick six from Kobe in this game, actually. And I'm calling a Bishop Sycamore situation on this college because I've never heard them before. I don't think they're a real college, so give me Kansas.
I forgot about Bishop Sycamore. I totally forgot about that. All right, you got a 10:30 p.m. Got to stay up late if you want to see this one. You got New Mexico at number 21, Arizona. Again, New Mexico, Montana State took them out in week 0.
They did. They
they're
did.
0-1. I don't think they're going to get another win. I think they're going to be 0-2. I think Arizona's too much for them. I got Arizona in the big win.
Arizona's got a new coach coming in as their old one went to Washington. New culture coming in, still a lot of hype. I think he's going to open up his coaching resume with a win. Give me Arizona.
Look, the new coach has come from Boise State, where he had a ton of success. They have their starting quarterback and their wide receiver 1 returning, and they were an unstoppable duo last year, and it's going to be more the same this year. Give me Arizona.
All right, this one, we got a 3:30 p.m. kickoff. I'm going to watch this game with fear and excitement. You got number 19 Miami at Florida.
Now, what's your pick, Jake?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in as a Florida State fan, but, I got to ride or die with a guy that I picked to win the Heisman. I think Cam Ward is going to come out. He's going to really showcase what he has.
Yeah.
I just hope Miami's offensive coordinator has his head screwed on straight and decides to knee the ball when he needs to knee the ball.
Please.
But I think Miami's going to beat Florida, but by only a field goal or maybe a touchdown. I think it's going to be closer than we all think.
Now, if I'm going bias here, it's a battle of who do I hate more, and I don't know if I can decide.
Well, it's the shiniest of two turds. I mean,
it really is. But like you said, Jay, Cam Ward, I think he's going to showcase his skill talent to all the world, especially now that he's playing in the ACC. Gainesville, don't get me wrong, it's a tough place to play. But,
yeah, it's hard playing in the swamp.
Yeah, Miami, my only concern is the coaching side, but like I said in episode 1, this is Billy Napier is the Willie Taggart of Florida. He's getting fired this year, and his hot seat's going to start scorching after a loss to Miami by 3 scores. Miami wins by 3 scores. You heard it right. Hurricanes, I hate you, but you going to win.
Yeah. Listen. Again, this is like
we're Florida State guys. It's hard.
Look, this is like watching
I'm trying not to.
This is like watching your 2 ex-girlfriends fight over each other. Like, you're not going to pick a side. Like, you
don't date either of them. They're both ugly.
You just want both to get beat up. So again, Chris Ball, I don't think he's a good head coach. I think he's prone to wasting a lot of talent. But I think Cam Ward is still the better guy on the field, and I think that's going to ultimately be the decision maker. I think it's going to be close, Chase, but I still have Miami getting the win in the swamp.
Yep. All right, this is going to be a quick pick. 2 p.m. kickoff time. You got South Dakota State at number 17, Oklahoma State. I got Oklahoma winning by 2 touchdowns.
Ollie Gordon gets 3 touchdowns, and they get the big one.
Best running back in the country. Give me Oklahoma State.
Yep. All right, you got a 7 p.m. kickoff on Friday. This is going to be tomorrow. You got Temple at number 16, Oklahoma. Again, Oklahoma, I think they just have too much for anybody to stop right now, especially the first couple of games. So I think Oklahoma's going to win big.
It's going to be weird seeing Oklahoma without why am I blanking on his name? Dylan Gabriel. It's going to be weird to see Oklahoma without Dylan Gabriel, but I think they're going to be just fine. Temple is an interesting matchup, but Oklahoma wins by 3 scores.
Believe it or not, when I was doing my dynasty on College Football 25, I was looking at the Week 1 scores, and Temple dropped 70 points on Oklahoma in my dynasty. EA is tripping on that good acid because that's not happening. Oklahoma's going to blow Temple out of the water.
Yep, that's fair. All right, we got a 12:45 p.m. kickoff time for this one. This is an in-state game. I think this is actually kind of an interesting one, not score-wise, but just who the matchup is. You got Chattanooga at number 15, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
Chattanooga.
I lived in Tennessee for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you that, it's like people are diehard Tennessee fans up there, but it's really not. Where I was living, which is pretty close to Chattanooga, you had a lot of Chattanooga fans there, and it's a pretty cool fan base, all things considered. But unfortunately, I don't think the fan base is going to be able to put enough points on the board. I got Tennessee big.
Yeah, then Moccasins, they might have a good traveling crowd since it's a local game, but I imagine Knoxville's pretty crazy when it comes to their Tennessee fans. I mean, we saw these fans throw a goal post in a river. They're going to be out loud. They have high expectations this year. Tennessee wins big. I think they win by 24. Sorry, Moccasins.
As much as I like to see an upset here, it's not going to happen. Give me Tennessee.
All right, Chase, you hit on this one already. We got number 23 USC against number 13 LSU Sunday at 7:30. This is going to be a great game, man. I'm so excited to be home, sit on my couch and watch this game. It's going to be a close matchup. I think it's going to be way closer than what we all think. I think it goes down at the fourth quarter. I think it may go down to whoever has the ball last. I think the last person to touch that football is going to be LSU.
Wow. Good pick.
Oh, that's right. Chase, you already touched on this. Sorry. You're right. I forgot. Chase, you already touched on this game a lot, so there's not much left to say. A lot of interesting scenarios going on for both teams, kind of both battling similar situations. There's going to be no defense in this game at all. Both defenses are going to struggle. I think LSU does get the better of the Trojans, though. Give me LSU. Go Tigers. I tried my best.
Okay. Go easy on that cigar, boy. All right. I miss him. I miss that voice. I miss that voice.
Yeah.
All right, we got two quick picks. We got Southern Utah at number 12 Utah Thursday night at 9 o'clock. I think Utah is going to win big on this one.
Yep.
Well, Cam Rising is coming back for his 6th year, and he's going to wish he never come back. Give me Southern Utah. I'm totally joking. Give me Utah. They win big.
I was about to say, it's going to be the Utah the way. Cam Rising, he's going for big goals in his final year. Maybe his final year. He may be back for a 7th. Who knows?
All right, and the second quick pick that we got is Murray State at number 11, Missouri, Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Again, Missouri. I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, yeah.
Missouri. Not even close.
Missouri impressed me a lot last year. I feel they're going to do the same this year. Give me Missouri.
All right, Monday, 7:30. When you're off the lake and you're off having fun with your family and you're grilling burgers and you're all sitting down and you want to watch some football, unfortunately, you're going to turn on your TV and see Boston College at number 10 Florida State Monday at 7:30. Oh my gosh! I mean, on paper, Florida State should win.
Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake.
I'm going to pick Florida State to win, but it's going to be close.
Oh my. Please.
I have nothing to base it off of but the first game. We were supposed to smack Georgia Tech, and we didn't. And look, a lot can happen, and, I think there is no short of, like a good spanking that I'm sure that all Florida State got when they got back home. I'm sure they probably ran holes in their shoes that next practice. I hope Mike Norvell turned everything around. I hope DJU kind of got some confidence. I hope Tallahassee is going to be rocking. I hope it's going to be too loud for Boston College to hear anything. I have Florida State winning by a touchdown.
Oh, God, I can't. I need more than that. I can't do this again. I can't do this again. But you might be right.
You know what I think? So Mike Norvell Wednesday called Georgia Tech's loss sickening. He put the full blame on him. So I think you what think's gonna happen? This is like when Daddy has a bad day of work and he comes on and your little kid Boston College tips you off a little too much that you just get the biggest pal you can find and you go bam, 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 and that's gonna be Bill Ryan and the Boston College Eagles. You tick Daddy off on a bad day. Florida State wins big in front of a sold out crowd.
First of all, I don't want to be your child. I feel so sorry for your future child. Listen, it's unfortunate that Florida State is going to be the new Vanderbilt this year in terms of stadium because half our stadium does not exist anymore. For those who don't know, it's being renovated, but we're still going to be able to fit close to 60,000 in that stadium. Like Chase said, it's going to be a sold-out crowd. Mike Norvell, love that he's taking full accountability for this loss. I think Florida State is pissed off. Chase, you're right. I hated your analogy, but you're right. You caught us on a bad week. Mike Tomlin's son, funny enough, is wide receiver at Boston College under head coach Bill O'Brien. We all know his success in the NFL. Listen, none of that's going to matter. Tallahassee's pissed off. Them Seminoles are pissed off. As soon as that spear hits the turf, we mean business. Florida State gets a big win in Tallahassee on Monday.
Yep. All we got to do is we got to stop that, dual threat quarterback that Boston College has. I think it's going to be the only worry. Hopefully we can, prevent the options from happening all game long, and we can win big. And DJU is going to get that confidence back. So,
yep.
All right, moving on. We'll get through this pretty quickly. Got another quick pick. You got Fresno State at number 9, Michigan. I got Fresno State by 22. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
I do. I want to say it, but I got Michigan. They're going to win. They're going to be 1-0. Okay, national champion defending team. Whatever.
Now, I know a lot of people have Fresno State being that group of 5 team to make the playoffs. I want to pick Fresno State, but I have Memphis sliding into the playoffs. Their only loss coming to Florida State. Fresno State's, they're going to have a good conference season, not a good out-of-conference season. Michigan wins close in the Big House.
Good, I hope so. And you know what's funny? Like, for everyone listening, I really don't have anything – I have no reason to not like Michigan. I just don't.
Oh, yeah, you do.
That's same for me. I mean, except they're cheaters.
I just – sorry.
Y'all boys, y'all listen to me, all right? I'm doing this not just for me. I'm doing this for America. I think America was cheated last year. We don't do no sign stealing down in the South, okay? I don't know what happens up north with all you Yankees roam, but that don't happen down here in the South.
Are you going to do it?
Fresno State was my sneaky team. They were my group of 5 team to make the playoffs back in episode 1. And do you know how a good road to the playoffs start? Is when you won the Trail of Tears. That's going to happen in the Big House. Give me Fresno State, boys.
Let's go.
Wolverines are going down.
I'm glad you did it. I am glad you did it.
It's going to happen, boys. Listen, and when it happens, I mean, shoot, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be ecstatic, though. I said, look, Michigan, we don't deal with no cheaters around here, right? If you want to win national titles, you do it the raw way, okay? You do it the right way. And they just didn't, In Fresno State, I think they're going to be America's team on Saturday, and they're going to get the job done.
Listen, man, I'm going to be watching that game like it's going to be a New Year's game bowl. I mean, it's just it's going to be so good.
Even though I chose Michigan, I'm pulling for Fresno State. I really am.
I think all of Americans. And who knows? Maybe Fresno State has the next Derek Carr and Devontae Adams duo in there that we don't know about.
Well, if you want to watch that game, you want to watch that upset, it's at 7:30. That's going to be a good one. Got another one that's going to be kind of close in my eyes. You got number 8 Penn State at West Virginia and unranked West Virginia. I think West Virginia has a lot. I don't think they have enough for Penn State. I think Penn State is going to be – I think they're going to be pretty good. They got a really good quarterback. I expect a lot out of them this year. So I got Penn State for the win.
Sure.
I mean, this is a tough environment. West Virginia, it's not an easy place to play. And I know that why am I blanking on his name? Oh, my gosh, it's going to kill me. I'll get to it. It'll pop up. But I know that West Virginia is a tough environment to play. Penn State's going to come in ready. It's going to be close in the first half. But I think Penn State take control of the second half, and they get the win.
And you're right. Listen, I know Pat McAfee's going to be all over West Virginia in this little backyard brawl. But Penn State, I'm high on the Nittany Lions this year, and I think they're going to get a big Week 1 win against West Virginia.
Gus Johnson, that's the name I'm saying. Gus Johnson's calling the game too.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love Gus Johnson, man.
All right, we're gonna jump through these next couple of games. We're running a little low on time, so we're gonna go with the first big matchup. We've already talked about it a little bit, so we're gonna give our good, honest report. We got number 7 Notre Dame. This is your college game day at number 20 Texas A&M. I think it's gonna be close. I don't think you can bet Texas A&M. I don't think you can count them out by any means. I think Mike Elko is gonna make a name for himself. I just don't think it's going to be an undefeated name for himself. I think they're going to drop this first one, but I got high hopes for you, Texas A&M. But I got Notre Dame winning by a touchdown.
Good pick.
I might not pick earlier. I'm sticking with it. Notre Dame wins.
You already know my pick. I'm taking the Aggies. Upset.
All right. We got a quick pick right now. We got Furman at number 6 Ole Miss. I got Ole Miss winning almost a shutdown. Shutout.
Jackson Dark's going to go crazy. Ole Miss easy.
Not much to say. Give me Ole Miss.
Yep. And we got another one. Western Kentucky at number 5, Alabama. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. You're not going to roll into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama like that. I got Alabama big.
Hey, Nick Saban lost to ULM his first season. Same thing's not happening to Bohr. Alabama wins pretty big.
Yep.
Western Kentucky. I was just saying Western Kentucky's a sneaky team, but not that sneaky. Give me Alabama.
Yep. All right, we got Colorado State at number 4, Texas at 3:30 again. I just think Texas has too much. Hook them, whatever you want to do. I don't think Colorado State has enough, unfortunately. Give me Texas.
The Longhorns lost to Washington in the playoffs. This is their revenge tour. Quinn Ewers wants to leave with the ring. They start with a win against Colorado State. Horns down there.
Yep.
They're going to make a good impression in the SEC. Give me Texas.
Yep. All right, we got the next game, 7:30 kickoff. Chase and Andrew have actually been to this stadium. They've been to this college. You got Idaho at number 3, Oregon. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks.
Dylan Gabriel area starts now. Bo Nix left a good atmosphere for him. He's going to carry on that torch. Give me the Oregon Ducks.
Oregon Ducks are going to win big in this one.
And we got one more quick pick. We got Akron going into number 2, Ohio State. Again, I think Ohio State's going to win the Natty this year. I still fully believe that. I think they're the best team to do it. So give me Ohio State.
This might be one of the best Ohio State rosters we've ever seen. Starts with their defense. The best defense in college football, hands down. Ohio State wins.
Yeah, they're my national title picks, dude. They had the best defense in the nation. They're going to display it in that first game. Buckeyes win big.
All right, we got the last one. We got number 14, Clemson, going into Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play the number 1 ranked team in the country, Georgia. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be close to about halftime, maybe the third quarter, and I think Georgia finds a way to peel away. I got Georgia winning by maybe a touchdown or 2.
I see it being close in the first half. I think Georgia finds the answer in the third. Give me Georgia by 24. I think they really pull away at the end.
I like your pick, Chase. Carson Beck's going to display why he is going to be a Heisman favorite. Dabo is going to wish he used the transfer portal. Defense is going to be too much at the end of the things. Give me Georgia winning pretty big against Clemson here.
Yep. So then we got the games that are happening right now, but we've made all of our picks for this upcoming week. This is week 1 of college football. Are we going to see some upsets? Are we going to see some teams step up and rise from losses? Florida State, are we going to see the things that we need to see coming out of Florida State? They got to have their turnaround game. This could be it. Hopefully we see all the number 1 teams and all the top 10 teams stay the way they are. We got some good matchups. We got some good games. Hope y'all guys have a great week, man. Enjoy week 1. Find some time to sit on the couch with your friends and family. Watch some football. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the weather. I hope it gets cool wherever you are in the country. But we'll be back here next week. I may be in a different location because I will be out of town, but we will figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when it gets here. But we appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel like doing. Enjoy week 1 of college football. We'll see you on the next episode.
Enjoy Labor Day.
It's out now.